Coming up next, you'll get a chance to meet Sean Claggett. He's an experienced trial lawyer from Las Vegas, Nevada, and also an Advocate Capital client. Hi, Sean. Hey, thanks for joining us today.
You're welcome.
Thanks
for having me.
Good to see you. How are things in Las Vegas?
Beautiful, beautiful weather.
Well, we really appreciate you and Lou as clients, and I was wondering if you might share with us a little bit of your experience of being an Advocate Capital client. First, how has being a client of ours impacted your law practice?
Well, it's really helped us grow the firm in the sense that we can now take the larger cases, which is the cases we want to take, without the fear of not being able to properly fund it, and not being beholden to a bank who doesn't understand what we do, candidly. And it's been great, and the way that the technology that y'all have for passing through each and every expense directly to the correct client makes the accounting end of it very easy. So it's been wonderful, and our firm has grown, as you know, immensely, and since we've been utilizing your services.
Yeah. Well, you've done a phenomenal job out there serving your clients. You know, sometimes when we're speaking to a potential client, they say, well, I'm worried about the impact on the case results for my clients because it's going to add a little bit of borrowing costs. What would you say to a friend who said, I'm thinking about Advocate, but I'm worried about the impact on a case for the client?
I would say that if you're using it correctly and you're being aggressive with your experts and taking the depositions and pushing the case forward as you should be, the results that you get for your clients are exponentially higher. And so the fact that there's a small amount of interest that's paid is, candidly, I've never had a single client question that, ever. So, I mean, I was surprised because I had the same concerns, and I certainly thought that the clients would be balking at the interest. But the reality is, it's never been an issue.
Fantastic. Well, like you, we only do business with law firms who don't really need money, right? But who can use that liquidity to help their clients better. So what would you say to a friend who's thinking about joining Advocate, but said, I don't really need the money?
Well, you don't need the money until you got the case and you're wishing you had a line of credit, and then all of a sudden you're hemorrhaging cash flow because you're funding a case that's going to cost you $200,000 or $300,000, and it's crippling. So you have to plan. I mean, part of my background, obviously, as we talked about, is the idea of law practice management. You need to manage your firm, and you need to manage the growth of your firm responsibly, and you better have a line of credit plan or a liquidity plan, however it may be, whether it's a line of credit or a rich relative. Obviously, for most of us, a line of credit is a much more realistic option. So that's something that absolutely needs to be accounted for in a responsible law practice management.
And I know something you and I agree with, which is if someone takes a case and they really don't have the funds to properly prosecute it, that's malpractice.
It absolutely is, and the responsible thing to do with that situation is to immediately find a firm that can properly fund it and associate them in.
Yeah.
A lot of attorneys, you see it all the time, they hold on to cases and you hear about it, and they get nailed for malpractice because they settle that case for $220,000. It was $1 million case.
Yep.
And the client goes back and says, well, what happened? And it turns out, well, what happened is your attorney didn't retain any experts and didn't work it up and didn't have a life care plan, didn't have a loss of earning capacity expert, whatever the case may be. They certainly did the client a disservice because of their own greed.
Absolutely. It's very unfortunate. Well, Sean, thanks again for being our customer and for sharing your experience with us today.
Oh, no problem. Thank you.